This is a clip from Basketball at the Bar Live. Phoenix could potentially lose this series, right? Devin Booker's out. I know they are up 3-2 right now, but potentially they could lose this series. The news today has been all around the Sixers and Doc Rivers and what's going on with them. They could potentially blow a 3-1 lead. It's a 3-0 lead. It's a little early. They're up 3-2 on Toronto. The next game is in Toronto. My question for you, Calvin, I know you talked about James Harden being one of the guys that has the most to prove in this year's playoffs. I feel a lot of people feel that Chris Paul still has a lot to prove. He still has not made that elusive championship ring category with everybody. So I want to know, which player is more disappointing if they were to lose in the first round of this series, Chris Paul or James Harden?
Well, they'd both be disappointed. Both teams and players would be disappointing if they lost these series, but it's got to be James Harden for me. Yeah. First of all, that team's up 3-0. Devin Booker has been out since game 2, or is it game 3?
I think game 2.
Yeah. And Chris Paul has played better throughout the course of this series than James Harden has. He had, one pretty rough game, Chris Paul did, but he's had multiple really, really great games in this series. James Harden, with Embiid's injury, he has to step it up for them. He's got to do more for this team. So, I like you said, I believe James Harden is the player overall in this postseason that has the most to prove, and the pressure's getting more and more on his shoulders right now.
I saw some rumors yesterday that James Harden wants the Sixers to lose this round so that Doc Rivers will end up getting fired. I don't know if that's true. You hear so many different just crazy rumors all over the place. In the age here of social media, we heard Doc Rivers today on TV commenting about, how he gets a bad rep for blowing a 3-0 lead and multiple 3-1 leads. I just want to put a correction out here, Calvin. The first series he lost, he was up 3-1 with the Orlando Magic against the number 1 seeded Detroit Pistons. This was the best year numbers-wise of Tracy McGrady's career. Tracy McGrady had an amazing series. The first 2 games of this series, I think he combined for almost 90 points in that. Doc Rivers says that he lost that series to the eventual champions in the Detroit Pistons. I think what he failed to allude to is that they won the championship a year later when they were able to add a guy.
Still makes them the eventual champions.
Like Rasheed Wallace. All this. If you want to play that game, Calvin,
but you're right.
We could play that game.
The Pistons got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals that year by the New Jersey Nets,
who end up winning going to the finals to lose to the Spurs. So quite interesting. I think I agree with you. I think it's more disappointing for James Harden, just with all the drama that he's had going on this season. As you mentioned, both guys are dealing with injuries to the other superstar player on their team and having to take a little bit more of the blame. It's interesting because I feel like the expectations for Phoenix are much higher than it is for the Sixers. But I agree with you. James Harden has not been himself, and Chris Paul has been.
Yeah, you can argue that this is the reason why both these teams brought these players in, right? But if you're Philadelphia, this is James Harden's moment right here. This is his moment to shine, to show why he wanted to play with Embiid, why he wanted out of Brooklyn, all that stuff. It's 100%.
Thank you so much for watching. As always, please don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. You can join us live every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, don't forget to tip your bartender.